I'm looking dewy. This little thing I got going on here, I gotta fix this because I'll be looking at chicken lip. Oh, the whole thing fell out now. Great. Love the weird fan from my computer. It's a MacBook, but it sounds like an HP. Finally, time for y'all to know what school I'm going to, even if it's all over Instagram. So hey, what's up my guys, welcome back to another video. If I've never seen you here before, hi, how are you? It is May 1st, or yeah, it's May 1st, it's decision day for Dodea. If you don't know what that is, that's Department of Defense, and then education, I don't know what the A means. But pretty much I go to a DOT school, and if you're DOT kids, you know how we roll. And May 1st is typically decision day for us, you know, to either say if we're going to the military or going to college or taking a gap year. Whatever you're gonna do in your life, you normally say it by May 1st. That being said, welcome to my college decision announcement. Yeah. I have no idea how to do this because, well, I'm me, and no matter what I plan, it never goes the way it goes. So, enjoy. When I apply to schools, I initially was gonna apply to 10, and if you want to see my Apply With Me series, they're all the way back in September. You can go watch them if you want to. I'm not gonna force you because, you know what, they're not the best. They're not the best. So they got pretty repetitive once I got through certain schools, because the first few schools I did, I was like, okay, so this is what you gotta do. I was getting into the hang of things, and I still didn't even know what to do by the end. So first I thought to talk about each school I initially was gonna apply to, and why I didn't apply to them, if I didn't apply to them, and what happened to like what they, and like anything of what they told me if I was accepted or not, blah, blah, blah. First school I was gonna initially apply to was Davidson, which is in North Carolina. I think it's in Davidson, North Carolina. So I did tour Davidson, and I do have that college tour up if you do want to see it. My parents didn't like it, I didn't like it. I'm just being straight up honest. The only reason I was gonna apply there is because it was like a backup, that it's my last choice, and plus it was in North Carolina, which was my backup state at the time. It was a good idea to line up Davidson as a backup school, but because like my family lives in North Carolina, like not too far away, especially since my uncle lives close to the school. Next school was Queens in Charlotte, or Queens at Charlotte. I don't know which one it's supposed to be. This is another school we toured, and if you want to see that, go ahead and see that. But this school I did ended up applying to mainly because the application was free, and I did get in. What a surprise. They kept deferring my application though, which was confusing, and which is why I thought they didn't accept me. But you know, it's fine. They ended up doing it, and they gave me a pretty good deal, but did I say yes? We will find out. Yeah, the only reason I applied to the school was because it was free. I mean, the school's cute. If you want to see my impressions of the school, you could go watch the college tour video. I don't really know what else to say about it. It was like a backup school anyways, and plus the application was free, so like. The next school I was gonna apply to was UNCSA, which is, what? Which is University of North Carolina School of the Arts. And since I want to be a performing arts major, I thought, oh my god, wow, a performing arts school in North Carolina, amazing. So I was gonna apply there, but I ended up not, because I didn't really know anything about the school since I didn't tour, and I kind of didn't care in the end. And plus that's another application fee I had to pay for a school that I had given up before I even applied to it. So it was, no. This would have been my backup performing arts school. My initial my initial choices for schools to apply to were all performing arts based. Wow, big whoop. UNCSA just, no, wasn't cutting it, sis. And plus it was a backup school in North Carolina too, so it just, you could see a theme of North Carolina. Next school I was gonna apply to was NYU. Then I didn't, because another application fee, and I know what I can get into and what I can't. Next school was University of South Carolina. And this was also another school I toured. I think this was the first school I did tour. I like the school, my parents did too. We did only tour the music department because I want to be a music major. Anyways, so yeah, I did apply to the school. We'll find out if I got in or not, because that's a whole different story. We did tour, we did like it, and plus this was kind of like, I want to say it's my parents' option for me to be far, like from North Carolina, but still be close or whatever. I don't really know. But we did go look at it, and it was pretty cute. Next school I applied to was Eastman, and this is a music school in Rochester. It's part of the University of Rochester, which is in New York, but Eastman's like a whole different like building or area or whatever, and I'm like, okay. I applied there. I was confused, but next school I was gonna apply to was Berkeley School of Music. Now, if I applied to this school, I probably would have gotten in, because The next school, you'll understand why. Like this school had like a higher acceptance rate than the next school I was gonna apply to, and if I could have gotten to the next school, which I probably could have if I went through with my interview, I probably would have been able to like get in. And also I have a friend who got into Berkeley, so I'm just like, yeah, I would have been able to get in. The next school I was gonna apply to was the Boston Conservatory, which is at Berkeley. I knew I could have gotten in. I just didn't go through my interview. Make me do more than I need to. There's that on that. The last school or my top school that I was gonna apply to, but I didn't, was Juilliard, because application fee was too much. I wanted to go Juilliard for like the longest time. I was like, nah, I already changed my mind. My list of which one's first, which one's second switched around all the time. Initially, it just got cut down to Queens, University of South Carolina, University of North Carolina at Charlotte, Eastman, and Boston Conservatory. So it was a total of 6. So my list changed around a lot. All like the New England schools got pushed to the end. So like Eastman was, like a lot of schools, they were just like pushed to the bottom of my list. And then the ones that got to the top were UNCC, University of South Carolina, and Queens, I think, because honestly at this point. But literally all my schools except the ones in North Carolina denied me. I really didn't care. When Eastman said no, I was like, okay, I already gave up on you. I regret filling out the application because I just lost money. Queens kept deferring me, but then in the end they said yeah, and so I'm like, okay. University of South Carolina, that was a whole audition process that was a little complicated. I ain't gonna talk about that. But in the end they said no, and I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna give up on the whole music department, because if I don't get into the school, I can't get into the music department, because that's how we roll over here. And then lastly is United States. Lastly is the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and if you couldn't tell, this is where I'm going to. Wow. So yeah, I am going to University of North Carolina at Charlotte. I don't have my little package because I put my address for my grandparents' because they live in Charlotte. So the reason why I initially did not want to go to Charlotte was for 3 reasons. One was both my parents went there. My mom graduated from there. My dad went there for like a semester or 2 or like a whole year. I don't know. But I was just like, nah, I don't want to, because you went there. That's the only reason. 2, my family kept influencing me to go to that school because it's like, it's in North Carolina, you got family there, you're gonna be safe. And I'm like, okay. And my third was my mind was so focused on going to school in either New York or Boston or Massachusetts or wherever it wasn't down south. So the reason I chose UNCC, apart from, or like the reason why it like bumped up on my list, was because I did not want to live on campus if I was in Charlotte. If there was any school, like all the schools needed me to live on campus for the first year, and I'm like, honey, no. And UNCC was the only school that I didn't have to stay on campus, and so I was already set on living with my grandparents. It's whatever, I don't really care. I thought they were gonna be the only school that accepted me, because they were actually, well, technically they weren't the last school that told me about their decision. Queens was. Then I got an email saying I got accepted. I'm like, I already told UNCC I was gonna enroll. So honestly, I had my whole mindset, like once my brain or mindset changes, I already start imagining a whole like future and process and like scenario, and like everything is like kind of falling into place, you know, other than quarantine and Miss Rona. But oh, and the travel ban. Like everything's kind of falling into place, me going to school in Charlotte, and then, you know, where I'm gonna live, when I'm gonna leave. It's just kind of like convenient. When I applied to schools, I applied as a music major or a pre-music major. It's kind of weird. Like, you say what your major is gonna be, but certain schools you have to audition. Well, all schools you have to audition, but what they do is they make you or set you as a pre-music major, and so that's what I was for one of the longest times. And so after I auditioned and got into the department or whatever, then I would be considered a music major. But when it came to North Carolina, I decided to double major, and only at this school. For whatever reason, only at UNCC was the only place that I would double major in dance. So guess what I'm doing? Now, hold your horses. I haven't gotten to the music department because I failed my audition. Wow, like I didn't see that coming. I actually did see that coming. This thing in the back behind me is a cheap keyboard from the 90s. It doesn't even have 88 keys. If you're a piano player, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't even have 88 keys. I can't do dynamic. The volume is set at one thing unless if I turn the knob or whatever. And so it's, so I didn't get into the department. Big whoop. I'm not surprised, I'm not mad, because my fallback plan was dance. Since I was double majoring, I kind of already had a fallback plan. But you know what, we working some things out with the school or whatever. And for me to be in the music major, let's see if I could get into this department by the end of next year. So yeah, I'm a Niner, just like my mommy. So I'm gonna sign the video off there. I hope you enjoyed. I hope your morning, evening, afternoon, night, wherever in the world is going great, and I hope you're living it up. But with that being said, signing it off here again, point blank. Bye.